Hello world, I'm LJ and this is the 100th day of LJ Goes Sweden. 100 days. It really does not feel like I've been for, over 3 months already in Sweden. It all started in Sundsvall with basically 2 months of applications and basically waiting where my future is actually placed in. And now after over 200 applications I have the answer. It's not Sundsvall. It's also not further south, Stockholm, Göteborg. No, it's Örnsköldsvik, further north, and I am living in an apartment with about 75 square meters. That is amazing. Close to work, and I am so happy for everything that I could achieve already in those first 100 days living here. Was it obvious to be this far now? I really don't know. Based on the feelings that my family gave me when I made the step in the first place, I think they did not expect it to go like this. Maybe for me I thought like it's going to be a bit faster, but I did not end up at IKEA or at Willys or at any other store. I really have a good job that builds my work career in the future too. So I'm so happy for the last 100 days. And for this video today, I decided to, basically go over some pros and cons that I have really felt during my first 100 days. And after that, let's talk about the next 100 days. But first, pros and cons. I also have some neutral things that I'm talking about because I really don't know how it is compared to Germany, either because I don't have the experience from Germany, or I just really don't care too much if it's a pro or a con, but it's worth mentioning. Okay, let's talk first about the negatives. So all of this, of course, is just my opinion. It is how it feels for me and what people from Germany tell me. So the first thing is the social system in Sweden. It's different, definitely, but the thing is, when I moved to Sweden, I always I always had this image of Sweden that it's very developed and advanced compared to Germany in a lot of things. But I really did not feel so much of this when we talk about the social systems. What I mean with that is, for example, the unemployment insurance. So in Germany, when you work, you get your salary, you have to pay a certain fee like taxes, and you have this safety that when you lose your job that you get money. In Sweden, yes, you also have this opportunity to get something, but it is way less in Sweden compared to Germany. And that's I don't know how many percent it do, but at least it feels like it's the smartest thing to make an additional unemployment insurance in Sweden. And then with that, of course, you get way more money when you are unemployed compared to Germany. But it's additional. Why is it not just in the tax deduction? Yeah, so that is one of the things. And then I already said it right now, taxes. Sweden is really, really, getting a lot of taxes. So first of all, for the salary, it's around about 30% of my income that I lose paying it to the government. Of course, you have the health insurance in that, but also there are some other things that I will be talking about in the cons. So the salary. Then we also have those taxes that come basically on every product. So that is added additionally. For example, when you buy food in a grocery store, or you buy a car or a television or whatever. And in Sweden, it's 25%. So a fourth is additionally. In Germany, the maximum is 19. No, is it 18? I think it's 18. But in Germany you have two different levels, 9% and 18%. In Sweden you also have different like variety basically in the taxation. You have 6%, 12% and 25%. Of course, I have not studied this, I just have read it online. I think like 6% are given on books, magazines, newspaper, and I think also on public transportation. 12% I really have no clue about that, and 25 is basically on most of the things that you can buy. Yeah, of course, it's basically more expensive. Additionally, also not only because of the taxes, you have higher living costs in Sweden. So the food is more expensive. It is not really easy to say all of the food is more expensive. You have a lot of things that are very obvious. For example, like fruits or vegetables, but because Sweden is further north and most of the most of the plants are growing when it's warm and nice. And well, in Sweden it's really cold sometimes, like minus 20 degrees right now. So of course nothing can really grow here. Yeah, so food. And the other thing that is also, that surprised me actually was the apartment costs. I don't have to tell you again how high the living costs are in Skellefteå if I would have decided for Northvolt with basically a a one-room apartment with not even 30 square meters for over 1,200 euros a month. Here I'm actually very happy because I don't have any comparison to German towns, because I never really looked how much you have to pay for rent. I only lived in a shared apartment during my university time, but how I basically felt the reaction of my family when I told them how much I pay, it feels like that, especially in a not so dense area, right, like Örnsköldsvik, 7,000 or 7,500 when you add all the additional costs up is a lot of, not 7,000, like 750, sorry. I always mix up crowns and euros. But yeah, it might be a lot of money. So costs are definitely a con in Sweden compared to Germany. Something else that I already talked about is currency, the Swedish crown and the euro. Well, as of right now, the Swedish crown is very weak compared to the euro. So until now, basically, when I still had all my money on my German account, it was a good thing for me because all the things I buy are basically discounted, because 100 crowns are nowadays like 8 euros and 80 cents or 85, like that doesn't make any difference. But it is, more than 10% discount. However, when I first arrived in Sweden, or like when I had my first vacation in Sweden, my first little road trip, it was 100 crowns is 10 euros. And I think this is also a very good and fair balancing with the costs. But now, especially like when I work in Sweden and then I make a trip to any country that has the euro, everything is going to be more expensive for me additionally because of the currency and the exchange rates. Yeah, maybe that changes in the future. Maybe we get an overtaking of the crown again, that we have more crowns for a euro. You know what I mean, like that it's above 10 euros, so like 11 euros for 100 crowns, but we will see. Yeah, and the last thing that is a con for me personally is, of course, a bit the isolation. I don't have any problem with it yet, but I still think like after 100 days, so much things are new. I still haven't worked a month at my company, so I have to get, like in contact with those people. But the situation where I'm living is really, it's not good if you want to be free, if you don't have a car, especially in winter where you have to take a so long detour to reach all the places in town even going to a grocery store, it is terrible because, yeah, either you take a car or you take a bike with spikes on the wheels. But also then it still takes a few, like 15-20 minutes. And with those temperatures, I don't know. So that's a con. But also, especially like with the no friends current situation, I don't think that this is going to be a problem. I know that I am I push myself to reach the points that I'm not alone. Of course, it's always hard, especially when you have to work and you only have like 3-4 hours in the evening left. Like, what are you going to do? But on the weekends, of course, there's a chance to maybe first start at work, to do something after work, and then maybe in the future just find some hobbies and make a cool living in this country. So those are the cons that just came to mind when I was thinking, okay, what did surprise me in a negative way about Sweden? Now let's talk about the pros. First, I said Sweden always has this image that it's very advanced in certain things, and yes, based on the whole thing that works with the internet, like everything that is digital, Sweden is awesome because you have everything connected. You don't have to worry if you have the electronic ID, if you have your person number, so your social security number. Sweden is awesome when you have all of that figured out. However, as an immigrant, basically, you don't have that in the beginning. So everything is a bit annoying. It feels like, it feels a bit like Germany. But this whole immigration process, I cannot compare it because I've never immigrated to Germany because I was born there. So I cannot say, is it worse in Sweden? Is it better in Sweden? I don't know. And I'm just very happy also that there is the chance to take the Swedish course for free, which is, in my opinion, really awesome. So, and then the other things that I have written down in my pro section are very much my own perspective, how I always imagined my future, and that is basically the things that Sweden fulfills. First, the nature, the wildlife. I had a moose this one day walking around. I had a fox this morning, jumping around the house. It's so crazy. I have people on horses riding through here. This is country life. And I always thought about it. Maybe I decided for Sweden and also this area because it has a bit of the Iowa flavor that I got used to when I had my exchange here in 2015. Even though it's not as hot as Iowa, but it's the combination of the country life and small area living, but also the cooler temperatures. And maybe it's that. Of course, other good nature things are you have so many lakes here. And it's just, it's so hard to describe to people that just go to the north on the main streets, on the Europe ways, basically, because everything looks so identical in Sweden. You have so much forest and you're just driving and you have woods on the right, woods on the left, so trees. And of course it feels the same, but you have to search for the diamonds, for the unique spots. And I can tell you that every lake that you find somewhere in this huge country is unique. And I am really looking forward when I have a car to explore those, to just explore the nature, maybe like, I don't know, have some camping sessions. And it's awesome. And also I live close to the ocean, so I have this perfect combination of some hills here around in Örnsköldsvik, then also the oceans, lake. We have the high coast only a few miles or kilometers south. Perfect. Awesome. I really love it. Another thing is the temperature. especially the last years when I studied in Germany, I really started to hate summer. I always am not really a summer type because I get annoyed very easily by putting like sun protection on your skin and it's sticky, and I always hate it because you're sweating, and no, that's not what I want. And I always got also very sad during winter, because what is the first thing that comes to mind when you hear the word winter? Well, in my mind, I always have an image of snow and trees and frozen lakes, and that was not Germany. The German winter is basically cloudy, rainy, a bit cold, but really disgusting, basically. Like, that's not nice weather. And here, like I said, I'm living here for over 3 months, and it's so crazy that I have basically not seen the country without any snow for more than 2.5 months. It's so crazy to have so much snow, and also those minus temperatures. Of course, this is not like, oh, I like to be outside at -20. No, it's not nice to be outside, but it's cool to say that I have really 4 seasons of weather. I have the cold temperatures in winter, the -20, when you go inside, sit at a fire, drink your tea, coffee, or hot chocolate, and just have a comfy day. And then in summer also, I talk to people, you still have +30 degrees in peak time. So you have both of it. You have the summer and the winter, and that is what I want. I want variety. Yeah. One other thing, of course, that also comes with this winter, with this, especially also the bright days in summer and the dark, long nights in winter, you have northern lights. And I don't really have to give any arguments. Of course, you get used to it. But where I am living right now in this location, it really feels like that northern lights are still unique. I don't have an everyday. It's cloudy sometimes, and sometimes, there's just no good and high percentage. However, I know that they exist here, and this is already it's already such a cool step closer to seeing them more often than in Germany. Because yes, there's also a chance that you can see northern lights in Germany, like once a year or maybe once every 2 or 3 years. But then you also still have this high chance that it might be cloudy or other bad weather. So here I have a real chance of seeing them. And still they are unique so that I can enjoy them and not really get used to it. What else? Well, I have also written down isolation again for my pros, because I already mentioned it. It's this Iowa feeling. I love the area that I'm living in because it's less dense. It always feels like in Germany, when you're living somewhere, you always have a certain shop close by. Like when you are living between big cities, there's always something going on, or at least it felt for me like it. But here, if I would now take the road north to Umeå, of course there are also other towns in between Örnsköldsvik and Umeå. But it is not like, oh, we have a town with 10, 20,000 people in between. It is more like, okay, there are 3 houses there. Then a few kilometers further north, you have like 6 houses there and 2 houses there. It is, I don't know, I just love this knowing that you basically are able to know your neighbors. You really can get to know like your own little area, and not like living together with 50,000 people that you don't ever going to see or know or whatever. So I just love all of those things. Something else is the culture. Of course, it is a bit hard now to compare this because I made the decision to move here. It is something that I'm interested in. But first of all, we have fika, like the Swedish time that you take. Basically, every time when you just take a sip of coffee, I don't know why it's so unique for me, because of course you can also just drink a coffee in Germany after lunch or like between breakfast and lunch. But here it is already awesome that you have a name for it and that you really sit down with the people and talk. And I can already feel it working at the company, even though there it is more like, okay, we talk a bit about our day and talk about work also sometimes. But I can imagine that, especially like when you are younger, you're studying, when you have fika, that is probably a very awesome time to go to a cafe basically every 3 hours or something like this. So yeah, that is cool. And another thing is just this freedom and variety, especially like I already mentioned, also the lakes, having the opportunity to go camping basically everywhere, because of the Allemansretten, which is this law that tells you just, yeah, as long as you don't destroy nature, you don't bother anybody like by sleeping on their land, inside, and all of those things, then this is awesome. Like in Germany, you are not allowed to camp. Of course, you could just sneak somewhere and nobody would notice. It's always possible. But here, like, if there is no sign telling you you're not allowed to, then you can just camp there. And unfortunately, especially in the southern regions, like between Malmö and Stockholm, it is getting harder and harder to camp in those areas because of the high tourism, that a lot of people just camp somewhere in those areas and then they destroy nature or just leave so much garbage, and it's sad in a way. So I really hope it is not going further north. But yeah, having this right to basically that everybody owns the nature in Sweden is just amazing. And then you have a huge variety of hobbies that you can go do in Sweden. Well, in summer you can go fishing, swimming, of course, like all the other things that you can do in every other country. But in winter, well, you can go ice fishing, for example. You can go skiing, cross country. I could cross country to work, basically. This is, you can go downhill skiing. I basically have this hill not even 10 minutes away, like driving, of course, with a car. You can get a snowmobile or go with huskies or go hunting. It's so much freedom, and for me it always feels like Sweden is this perfect balance between Germany and America, because in America you have so much freedom, but you also have a lot of things that really scare me nowadays, and then you put a bit of Germany on it and then you have Sweden. So that's how I feel right now. Okay, and now let's talk at the end about some neutral things. Well, first, I just want to say it, I don't want to go into any detail, but politics. I don't know how it's in Sweden. I just know that in Germany it feels, for me, because I heard about it, I saw the news, that you have a certain division between the people in the society. Like it really feels like either you have to be on the right wing side or on the left wing side. The people in between are, I don't know. So of course there's a lot of things going on right now, but I don't know how it's in Sweden. So I probably will figure something out when I start talking more with my colleagues at work. But maybe I should also start watching some Swedish news instead of focusing too much on the ones in Germany. Then again, I already mentioned it, this immigration procedure. I don't know how it is in Germany. I just know that it's a bit annoying, lots of documents until you have the person number. And so, well, another thing is work. I cannot really say if I would have basically had a similar experience or a better or worse experience if I would have made it like an employment in Germany compared to Sweden. So it is neutral for me. And another thing that I just don't care too much right now, maybe this will change, is data privacy. In Germany, it really feels like you're the only person that knows what you are doing until you tell someone. However, in Sweden, basically everything is public to everyone. I tested this, for example. I was looking up a Swedish singer, and yeah, I could find so much information of her, where she lives, and how much her companies make per year. This is so crazy. So of course it is maybe the middle would be awesome, like to have a certain protection, but yeah, we are living in a world where people are doing videos online, sharing their lives. So I just think we have to, yeah, accept that we cannot live invisible in this world any longer. And yeah, that's life. So that was my short comparison between the pros and cons that I have felt for the first 100 days. I wanted to say weeks. For the first 100 days in Sweden. The question now is, what will change in the next 100 days? So we have 3.5 months from now. That would be March, April, May, the end of May. So basically roundabout at the time of my birthday. I still don't have any vacation until then, like, you know, like huge trips planned. But I really hope that in the next 100 days I have the chance to make some connections, make like social connections. I don't want to say friends because this takes time, but I want to have connections where I know, hey, we can meet up next weekend or do something fun together, maybe go like ice fishing or whatever. So that is one of the things that I'm really looking forward to. I also want to put a bit of my focus, of course, on my savings and all of those things, figuring out how I invest my money, my salary in the future. And I will, of course, think about getting a car, maybe something will work out. Those are the things that I have basically put very high for the next 100 days. And of course, focus on work and get everything, settled. That work is going to be normal and I don't have to worry about, being kicked out or whatever. So that was my review of the last 100 days. I hope you enjoyed this experience so far, and if you're new, well, let's see what happens in the next 100 years. There are actually a few things planned coming up in May, for example, but I don't want to talk too much about certain details yet. So be surprised when it's coming up, and have a wonderful day, and we will see each other tomorrow. Bye bye.